Thank you for tuning in today to the Wonderful World of Fine Arts Radio Show with Julius and Shurvon. Today we have a special guest, a lady by the name of Kate Burnett, otherwise known as Kate the Paint Lady, here in Seattle. She is a visual artist, an entrepreneur, and just an all-around creative person. And she's going to speak more about the specific things that she does as an artist. Thank you for being on our show today, Kay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so like she said, my name is Kay Burnett. I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I grew up there for most of my childhood, but came out here. My dad was in the military, so I've made Seattle my home for like the past however many years. We'll say like 15. We're not gonna date myself. So I really came out here because there's more opportunities than there is in Baton Rouge. So like here, you just kind of have to create those opportunities. And for me, I feel like it was easier to do. So I started off like with HR management and real estate and apartment management and things like that. And those were not making me happy. I'm like, okay. So I enrolled in graphic design school. So I was just trying to figure out like, what is my passion? What's something that's going to make me happy instead of just going to this job every single day. And so I always like to draw. So I found out that I like to paint. I took a painting class and I was like, oh, I've always drawn. I was just always doing like celebrity portraits and of my family and things like that. So I was like, oh, okay. When you start adding color to it, I was like, oh, okay, this is something I like to do. So like for about 5 years, all I did was paint and I was struggling and I was trying to find like, people to buy my art and they wasn't. they was not buying my art at all. I went to this. My cousin is he's a chef and he owns his own restaurant. So he invited me to this vendor show. So I was selling my art like landscapes and things like that. And there was a paint and sip going on in the other room. So I'm just like looking like, well, what's going on? So the lady actually came to me and she was like, she liked my art and she thought that I'd be a good fit for it. And I was like, okay, I've never taught before. Like I'm at this point in my life, I was really timid and shy and like really like I was not outspoken. I'm still not outspoken really. Okay, and so she put the idea in my head. And so I actually interviewed with Paint Night. They're called Yay Maker now. Oh, okay. I don't know what that means, but that they're called something else now. But okay. I interviewed with them and they said no. Oh. I did a like a working interview with them. It's like, you need to go back to school and you need to articulate your words and like you're not a good fit. And I'm like, oh, you guys crushed my soul. And he sent this long email and I was like, dang, y'all came to me. I didn't even ask for this. But so I was crushed and that happened, I would say 2015 November. And so I was like, and I kept thinking about it for a long time. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start my own. Yeah. And I'm going to call it Ladies Paint Night because it was a man who did that to me. And so that I actually interviewed with. And so I called it Ladies Paint Night for a long time, for a few years. It was so I've been doing paint and sip classes for 7 years now. Okay. So the first 3 years it was for ladies only, and then I just opened it up to everybody. Okay. So I had my first class like 2 months afterwards, and again, he was right. I did need to work on myself because the first class, I was shy. I was stuttering over my words. I was a mess. There's still people to this day that come to my classes from that first one. Okay. But so it's a paint and sip class. Just to reiterate what it is, it's a paint and sip class. Sometimes we drink Moscato or wine, maybe a little vodka here and there, like, and then I teach it in a fun and chill environment. That way, it's not like your typical paint class. I actually never been to any of those other ones. I've only
Okay.
been to mine, so I don't have like I am the blueprint. Like I taught myself how to do it in my own way. So I think that's why people like to come to me, because it is different, and then the art that I do teach is pretty much completely different from the other ones. I know I started off with landscapes and stuff, but now I teach like portraits of people, and like girls with glasses, lips with the tongue out, like whatever the theme is. And I always do theme events. For example, like 90s paint and sip. So if we're doing a 90s paint sip, maybe we might draw a boom box. Or if we're doing a trap and paint, and that trap and paint is like rap music, and so if I'm doing a trap and paint, then we'll listen to trap music or old school Black Girl Magic, things like that. Like I'm always throwing out different themes to and then that brings out all types of people. For example, I did a for the 99 and 2000s paint and sip, and there was an older white couple there, and they were having the time of their life. And then I was like, you know what type of paint and sip this is. But they had their little drinks, and they had their painting, and it was nice. We painted Bart Simpson, and she turned hers into Marge. It was nice. So I never know who is going to show up to the events, because it's just whoever sees it and whoever wants to come to it is welcome to come to it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I love your story. I love how you got started and how you continue to pursue your passion of being an artist despite the criticism. And basically you just stepped out on faith.
I sure did. Yeah.
And I really I can relate to that as an artist. And so I really think that is to see where you are now, or where you start, because I would have never.
No, I was like in a little box.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I would like to know is, what was it that inspired you to just do your own? I know you had talked a little bit about that,
because
and before we go, and from the time you had the interview, and how much time passed before you decided, I'm just going to try it and do my own, and from where you were in that space to where you are now, how do you see things have evolved?
That's at that point in my life, I was getting a lot of no's.
Okay.
It was I had my daughter. She was 2 years old. I was at the time I was a single mom.
Okay.
It was hard. So I was just like, I was miserable.
Okay.
And it was like, and something needed to give, because it's like, I can't keep putting into my passion if I'm not making any money off of it.
Exactly.
And so it's like, art supplies are not cheap.
No, they're not.
And so I was getting a lot of doors closed. I wasn't in the job I wanted to be in. Okay. I was working so many hours. I was barely seeing my child. So it was like a bunch of no's. And I'm like, after so many no's, you have to really take control of your own life and try to figure out, like, how do you turn that into a yes?
Okay.
And so even though I didn't have any experience teaching, I probably had no business in the beginning, just diving right into it. It was just like, it was a learning experience.
It is.
It was like learning myself kind of all over again, like finding myself, because I've tried to go back to other jobs here and there. I've gotten fired from a job because it's like, you're not here. And I'm like, okay, well, I get it.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm thinking of ideas of how to grow my business while I'm at work, and that does not work for them because I'm supposed to be growing their business.
Yes, exactly. I get it.
So it was just a lot of no. So from that time frame of getting to know from paint night to me starting my own, it was probably about a month of me putting it out there. And I did sell out my first class. So there's that.
And where was it here in Seattle?
And the crazy thing about it is I did have a supportive boss at the time.
Okay.
He let me hold it in the lobby of my job.
Okay.
And so we had about 20 women in that class.
Wow.
And it was it was crazy. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now, and I apologize if I missed this, but did you have any formal training as far as art school or art classes in your younger years or in your, after high school or what?
So I went to graphic design school, which
Okay.
is more digital. So I didn't
Yes.
have any I did take one painting class there and one drawing class
Okay.
there.
Okay.
So but I was
Yeah.
already drawing,
Yeah.
and then the painting, like if I didn't know how to do something, then I'd go and look on YouTube, or I look
Yes.
online,
Hmm.
or I try to like mimic a painting and then kind of figure it out
Okay.
on my own.
Yes. Yeah. And that's usually how it starts. As artists,
Mhm.
it's just it's a work in progress
Mhm.
basically. And once you start painting, that's when
You
you
can't
realize,
stop.
yeah, you can't stop. But
Mhm.
then that's also when you realize, oh, okay, I want to tighten up here, or sharpen
Mhm.
this up, or do
Right,
better in
because
this.
you always got to keep
Yes,
learning. Mhm.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. So, what is now that you're in this space of being
Mhm.
known all around the city
Mhm.
as Kay the Paint Lady?
Mhm.
What is it that you find is your most, I guess, popular theme or subject matter in regards to things that you paint or the
Mhm.
things that you come up with? And, um, how do the people, I know you said that a lot of people are participating in the
Mhm.
work.
Mhm.
So how do you feel like just,
Mhm.
how does that come together for you with creating new ideas and,
Sometimes I just put it out there. What
okay,
themes would you like to see? That
okay.
because they're the ones that are gonna come and paint.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I always ask. I plan my events about 2 months in advance. And
Mhm.
so like right now I have a list of all these ideas. I'm like, and then I'm gonna plug them into dates. But I
Yes.
find that people love the themes because then they know in advance kind of what they're going to paint.
Okay.
So they really like the 90s painting. They like,
Mhm.
well, I think they're tired of the lips right now.
Okay.
But they were on that for a long time.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so like I think they like the throwbacks and the old school. I think they really like those because those
Okay.
always do well. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. So in addition to the paint classes, what other forms of create creative projects do you have?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I do art therapy boxes too.
Mm.
So that's a monthly subscription that I send out. So it's
Okay.
basically like small paint kits and then like a few art therapy prompts. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do what else do I do? Oh, I have a second business. I don't know how I do this. Like, I have a second business that's also full time,
Uh-huh.
and I've been doing that for 3 years. It's called KBMC Designs,
Okay.
and I have a business partner. His name is Michael Carter.
Mm-hmm.
He also has a graphic design, which is background, which is crazy because we actually went to the same school, but at
Wow.
different times.
Okay.
But I didn't know him back then, and
Yes.
it's like God put us together, like
Yes. Yes.
to create. So the KBMC designs, it's KBMC Dungeon Designs, and when I was living in the Central District, I had a basement that kind of felt like a dungeon. So and it was created when we during the pandemic, trying
Okay.
to make extra money, and
Yes.
so that's how that kind of was born.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do graphic design, embroidery, print apparel. So if anyone wants any logo designs or embroidery or like even like their art, like this is something that I did through my business. It's
Yes.
nice to be
Mm-hmm.
able to do that and I
Yes.
put my art
Clothing.
on shirts and stuff too.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
so that's also very creative. So like we mostly work with other businesses
Okay.
too. So like our
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit businesses. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay, cool. I'm just so glad
Hmm.
to me it's just like it is I'm inspired
Hmm.
to just hear your story as from where you
Hmm.
started to where you are now and
Hmm.
knowing that if you ever everybody says on Facebook or Instagram, Kay
Hmm.
is always advertising her parties. So kind of like how many per month do you average
Oh
out?
gosh. So I just did this calculation. So from January and February, I organized 21 paint and sip classes.
Wow.
And okay, so it's not all good. Like
Okay.
it has its ups and downs because you
Yes, I
never
get
know
it.
what people are going to be interested in, and
Okay.
because it's all ticket based. So like
Okay.
So I organized 21 events, but 5 of them were canceled because of low ticket sales or because I didn't get any ticket sales.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's not all, because people have this misconception that I sell out every event.
Okay.
And I don't.
Okay. Well, I would
don't.
have thought that
It is-
just based
yeah,
off
and
of
I
your
don't.
advertising and the pictures.
Yeah,
and-
because I have at least 2 or 3 events per week, and that doesn't include private parties too.
Okay.
And I do an after school program with A for Apple Learning Center. She's located in the Central District, and I'm there
Okay.
Monday and Friday with the kids doing painting classes.
Okay.
So
Cool.
and then private parties for different like corporations. So like I just did one for a grieving. It was for youth, and there's like a grieving support group too. So it was. So I do different things so that I don't
Okay.
usually just tell everything, because I don't want everything that I do to get overshadowed by the
Yeah.
public events. So yeah.
Yes, I get it, because you're still an
Yeah.
artist and you have to have time to create actual work,
Right.
for your portfolio and
Mhm.
for your own art shows and
Mhm.
things like that. So,
Mhm.
what, in addition to the classes, what would you say has been your largest class that you've had?
I've done the largest class I've done was probably about 130 people.
Wow.
And
okay.
I can do those classes by myself,
Mhm.
but it's always nice to have help.
Yes, I get it.
Like
get it. Mhm.
I've been at the Renton Pavilion one time.
Mhm.
I've always done events at Delancey's. I think they have like 120 spots available.
Okay.
So like different before the pandemic. She's
Yes.
reduced it now, but
Okay.
yeah. So, and then I've done it at different schools before. Like they've had their like Mother's Day brunch, and
Oh yes.
so I've done them for like a lot of people before. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, like I said, it's just I don't know. I'm just like wow,
Thank you.
I personally own some of Kay's artwork and one of her paint kits, and I'm gonna look into getting some apparel at some point. So, she's
Mhm.
just all of your artwork to me is very creative. It's different, it's colorful. There's something for everybody to
Mhm.
enjoy. And
Right.
now that we know that, it's this was kind of like your own
Mhm.
vision that you brought forth,
Mhm.
despite feeling scared and timid, and
Yes.
and to see so many people within the city and throughout the state, actually, just
Right,
really
because I feel like I'm very humble. Like,
Okay.
don't get it
Yeah,
wrong,
I
but like
get it. I get
there
it.
wasn't anyone doing it how I started doing it,
Yes.
and especially for the Black community, because
Mhm.
like what I paint, I mostly paint Black women because
Yes.
I am a Black woman.
Exactly.
And so I paint what I paint what I know, and I paint what I see.
Yes.
Yeah, and the sky, like the Seattle skyline is beautiful. Landscapes are beautiful. Like I
Yes.
still do those things,
Mhm.
especially when requested. Like if you book me for a private party, I'm gonna paint what you want to paint.
Okay.
Wine glasses, like like whatever the theme is, I
Yes.
can make it happen.
Yes.
And all types of people book me, so it's like, but but yeah.
Okay, then.
I feel like I kind of paved the way.
Yes, you did.
Because there's other people doing paint and sip, and see, and that's another thing too. It's like there's a lot of other people that are doing paint and sip classes, and I feel like I can't be everywhere at once in our community.
Yes.
So I have nothing against anyone else doing paint and sip classes,
Mhm.
because I've had people reach out to me and say, "Hey, is it okay?" And I say, "Girl, go get your money. Go get it.
Yes.
Just don't use my pictures for promotion.
Exactly.
Be respectful of
Exactly.
what I'm doing. I've had run-ins. I've had issues with other paint instructors to where they'll go and use the same venue as me.
Okay.
And it's like there's so many other venues you can use, so like I've gone into those little issues, but I've tried my best to address it privately and things like that. But I'm also hiring too.
Okay.
So I've brought on 4 paint night instructors in the last since December.
Okay.
It has its ups and downs. Two are still standing.
Yeah.
I'm doing brand ambassadors to
Okay.
help promote the events, just to try to,
Yes.
because if you want to, I kind of feel like this. Right, this is how I'm going right now.
Yes.
Like
At their
everything's
steady
going good,
pace.
but I feel like if you want to elevate, you have to have a team, build a
Exactly.
team
That
of
is true.
the solid people
Yes.
who share the same vision of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm in that process, and I've never done that before, so I
Okay.
can't really speak to like how it's going. It's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. You're working
Like,
it out. It's a
it's
work in
going, and
progress. Mm-hmm.
it's a learning process, but I have
Yes.
two solid ones, Gabby Moore and Devonna Roy.
Oh, good.
They're both, you met
Mhm.
Gabby, right?
I'm not quite
Okay,
sure.
she did live painting at the one of the poetry events. But anyway,
Okay.
she goes by Gigi Moore.
Oh,
And
I
so
believe I
yeah,
have met her.
but yeah,
Yes.
she does, I went to high school with her, and
Okay.
she does great work. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, so now that you kind of built this team, you have a good
Mhm.
following, people collect your personal artists
Mhm.
well. Where do you see yourself going from here with your team as an individual artist? How do you see yourself branching out?
Mhm.
Um, from
So for
here.
this year, my goal is to grow a solid team
Yes.
of people,
Okay.
because I want to be in Tacoma one night, in
Hmm.
Seattle one night, in Shoreline another night,
Yes.
all at the same night, and
Exactly.
then and then I could just be at home.
Okay.
you know,
Yes.
like
Okay. Mhm.
I want to be able to go places with my daughter, but without having to worry like, oh, is my events going well?
Okay. Yeah.
I want
Mhm.
to and I want to find people that are passionate about it the way that I'm passionate about it, if
Mhm.
not more. Because I
Mhm.
feel like collaborations, I feel like that both parties need to add value, and that it works out for both parties too.
Mhm.
And so just finding people that have that same
Yes.
work
Mhm.
ethic too as
Exactly.
me.
Yes.
So it's
Exactly.
about growing my business with a solid team. And even if it doesn't work out, just down the road, like,
Mhm.
it's all a learning experience.
Yes,
And
it
and
is.
one day I want to pack out like the Tacoma Dome or something.
Okay, I
Like,
can see you
we're
doing
just
that.
having
I
this
can see you
one big
doing that.
huge paint party. I talked to
Yes.
one of the instructors that's on my team about it. Like,
Mhm.
I just celebrated 7 years. So
Okay.
imagine that 10 years.
Oh
Like,
yes, you have to do it big. You have to
yeah,
do
because
it
for
big.
7 years I've done it alone. And
Yes.
so this is the first year that I've taken it seriously of bringing people on
Okay.
contracts and
Yes. Okay.
1099s.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yes. The
yeah.
business part of
Mhm.
the art world.
Mhm.
Yes. So, um, what was I going to say about that? Um, now that you're have that vision and that goal, is there other things outside of art that you're gonna look into doing as
Mhm.
well, that I guess maybe are still creative process,
Mhm.
but maybe something different out in addition to what you are doing?
Um, well, I do want to get my own space, but
Okay.
not necessarily for Kay's paint joint. I
Okay.
do want to get my own space with my business partner, Michael,
Okay.
for KBMC.
I see.
So what we want to do is open up a space where people can come and, get their shirts and
Okay. Yes.
do
Buy
their
merchandise.
embroidery,
Mm-hmm.
make it an art gallery, but
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily for paint and sip, but for our business. So
Exactly.
that's what we're working on, is getting our own space, because we're so limited of our current space of what orders, and we have to be particular what orders we
Mm-hmm.
take,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have the space
I get
to,
it.
like, we want to get all these different machines and
Yes.
upgrades, but it's like,
Yes.
man, where are we going to put it at?
Exactly,
Like, so that's
exactly.
the next step. I really want to grow that business, and I feel like the way we can grow that business is by getting a building to where we
Okay.
can have people come in, and maybe even turn it into an event space or something like that too. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So my next question is, what is it that are there other artists that you're inspired by?
No, it's like
Okay.
I am inspired. I think, honestly, I think I burned a lot of bridges too,
Okay. Okay.
because in Seattle, it's like they feel like it's a lot of competition.
Okay.
And so
it.
it's like I've gotten blocked by I don't know if I should be saying all this.
No.
I've
Well,
gotten
you
like,
can talk about your experience, but
yeah,
also just as an artist, like I know
yeah.
sometimes as creative people we collect art. So it doesn't have to be
Mhm.
individual. Like, do you have your art like in your own home for your own self, and then
Yeah.
other like are you an art collector
Yeah.
basically? is what
So
I'm
I'm not
Mhm.
necessarily an art collector. You know what? I do have some. I am inspired by.
Mhm.
But like I was saying, just to finish that thought, is
Mhm.
I feel like in Seattle there's a lot of competition
Yes, it can be.
within our community. A
Mhm.
competition like, okay, well, if she won't work with me, then I'm gonna start my own and I'm gonna block her. That type of thing. So it was when I first started, it was kind of hard to work with people and
I
people.
get it. Okay.
And so, but as far as like artists that I'm inspired by, I don't know if you know Aramis Hammer.
Oh yes,
Yes.
I love her work. I have her work as well.
Yes.
Yes.
I am definitely inspired by her.
Mhm.
I have her clutches. I have her she did some wallets. I follow her. She's a true inspiration.
She is.
She live painted with me for the first time. So like with me I did a live painting event and she did some beautiful artwork. I think she worked with me a couple of times. I visited her studios when she was in downtown Seattle. Yeah, so she's a huge inspiration. So yeah, I would
and
have
you
to
know,
say
I
her.
have to just say that because I totally agree in regards to Aramis. Okay, and I'd be good to see a lot of the Black female artists come together at some point and do something together.
I would love to even put that together.
Yeah. So yeah, let me know if you do. You can sign me up.
Exactly.
I will be there.
I will put it together.
Yes.
Summer coming.
Oh, you heard it here first on Rainier Avenue Radio .world. And so, Kay, we're gonna wrap up soon. But if you have some kind of inspiring, motivational message you want to give to the audience about, taking that step of faith.
Okay. So at each of my classes, I always say, I promise to relax and have fun. And I have you guys repeat that with me. And I say that each time, and I've been saying it faithfully every single paint night. I've been saying it faithfully because you have to relax. Let all that extra stuff go. Because if I didn't jump out of my element, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So if you're feeling nervous or your heart is beating and all that, then that means that you have to do it. That means you have to for somebody else, if not for yourself. Because my daughter looks up to me. I got her doing paint and sip classes too. She's 9. Yeah. So just step out on faith, step out of your element, and go for it.
Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to the Wonderful World of Fine Arts radio show with Kay, the Paint Lady. You can go on her website, and your website?
My website is kayspaintjoints.com.
And you can sign up for her classes and purchase her art and merchandise there. Thank you and have a good day. And this is the Wonderful World of Fine Arts.
Thank you.